So obviously we have two great thinkers, writers, authors, politicians of very different kinds. We're going to start with David Willetts.
It's great to be here, and I haven't been in this club before. It's a fantastic space it occupies as well. This is the kind of place where the debates we have in the House of Commons really ought to take place, then we make some progress. As you said, I thought I'd talk a bit about my book published this week, but I tried to look at what's been happening to our country in terms of different generations, and argue that there is a great big generation in the middle, the baby boomers, and who either deliberately or accidentally have ended up with most of the money, and that we are failing to discharge the fundamental obligation of ensuring that future generations have the same kind of opportunities that we've enjoyed. It does seem to me, especially as a Conservative, that although often Conservatives are wary of talk of a social contract, that society is indeed held together by a social contract, and the social contract is above all intergenerational. Often boomers feel, well, hang on, we do a fantastic job for our kids. And the argument is, boomers, we are better parents than we are citizens. That the main investment in children that we do is individually in our own families. And because of the weakening of other forms of intergenerational exchange, the investment through the family has become both absolutely and proportionately more important. There's been a massive shift from these investments by other adults in children towards peer group influence.
On a related or a totally unrelated topic, John Kampfner, what's on your mind this morning? And you, of course, also have a gorgeous new book out.
Well, thank you, Julia, and good morning, everybody. The basic question that I ask and seek to answer in the book is as follows. Why is it increasing numbers of people around the world, whatever the circumstances, whatever their cultures, appear increasingly willing to trade their liberties in return for the prospect of either wealth or security? I seek to differentiate between two different types of freedoms, one of which has been relegated in favour of the other. The one that's been relegated is public freedoms. These are the freedoms to be active in the public realm. That could be freedom of association, that could be free speech, free expression. The freedoms that we all now prize are these atomized freedoms. They're the freedom to live your life in the way you wish. And the most important freedom, private freedom, that has been extolled, is the freedom to create wealth. The reason the vast majority don't wish to cause trouble is that they have too much to lose. The Barrington Moore thesis that the extension of a middle class, the extension of wealth, would lead people to be more active in the public realm appears not just to be unproven, actually to have been the reverse. That democracy over the last 20 years has been traduced and transformed into predominantly a vehicle for delivering consumer wealth. And that is what it should never have become in terms of an exclusive goal.
I have the feeling that our baby boomer generation was a particularly lucky one compared with other nations' baby boomer generations. Is this right?
There is something very unusual about England's social model, and I think it goes back to having very small families. This helps to explain quite a bit, because these pressures about what kind of, whether are much more intense if you are not in a clan-based or tribal or extended family society where there's lots of uncles and aunts who are all going to help out.
Charities are possibly where younger people are turning for some kind of an association rather than political parties. They may align themselves to charities, but they are very promiscuous. There's data out on that, so it's not so much the kind of alignment you would get with a political party.
One should also say that for young people themselves, what I notice, because I've spent a lot of time visiting colleges and universities, that often they have quite a kind of absolutist view of both morality and of politics. He's pretty black and white.
The inability of politicians, or the unwillingness of politicians to sort of think deeply and say interesting things. And it would be great if any of the parties really addressed the core problems that got us into both the democratic crisis we're in and the financial crisis that we're in.
Well, on that note, I think something is going on when good people like yourselves get up at shockingly early hours to talk about values in society and what we all want. And I personally think that will be reflected in the ballot box, but it is quite a long road.